Yeah, it's that time again. Welcome to Theology in the Streets podcast, where no topic goes untouched.
Yes.
It's your boy Pastor Lou, a.k.a. Late to the Game, and I got with me.
It's your boy Don Dada, back in the building. How y'all feeling out there?
What's up, man? Jam with Juggernaut with the facts always, man. What up?
Hey, and it's your producer, Kurt Classic, baby.
Kurt Classic, yeah. That was pretty smooth, Kurt.
Yeah, that's
I like that.
your producer.
Hey, listen, we drop episodes every Wednesday and Friday. You can catch us on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us and show us some love. Also, if you want to follow us on our social media, Facebook at TATS Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at TATS_podcast. And once again, YouTube Theology in the Streets.
And you will be offended.
Yeah.
You might be offended.
And
yes,
you will
definitely,
be.
Yeah.
We're going to change that to you will be.
Oh.
No, you're right. Go ahead.
Shout out to our man's David in the Cut Jones.
David
right.
in the Cut Jones. Yo, he's the editor-in-chief. My man gets it done, yo, for real.
That's right.
But we're going to get into the topic today, and let's be straight up. It's a serious topic. It's a real issue we have here in America, across the globe, and that topic is molestation. Molestation in the world today. How do we deal with it? How does the church deal with it? We're going to get into that. Has it happened to us personally, or maybe we know people personally? We're going to get into it, that right there. But to get it going, when we look at our children today, they need to be protected, right? I think we all in agreement with that, especially if we look at our own children. And I can't even imagine if someone was to touch one of my children in a way that's inappropriate. And in fact, let me give you something. Back in 2012, a father walked back. This was in Texas. A father walked in on a man in the act of molesting his daughter, and she was 5 years old. And he ended up killing the man by beating him to death. And no charges came to him, thank God, because he did what he needed to do. But because this is such a sensitive topic, and maybe some of our listeners out there have maybe even gone through something like this. If you have, man, I pray that you're doing better. But maybe you might know some people who are going through who have gone through something like this. We want to come and bring a little bit of light onto this and try to maybe bring in some encouragement. So I want to throw this out, y'all. If you need prayer on this topic, you can reach us at theologyandthestreets@gmail.com. We keep it sensitive, and I'll take it before the Lord in prayer. We'll pray for you if that's something you would like. So, what do you guys think on this topic, though, molestation in our current society today?
Well, we know that it's nothing new. You was talking about that, Lou. You had this, mentioned that earlier while we was talking about it. Obviously, society, this is nothing new. We've been dealing with this for a while now. I mean, for years. And I think that, is it going to go away? No. Okay. Sad to say it won't go away. But how do we protect our children, and how do we protect the ones close to us is the question, I believe. Right, Gemma?
That's right. Best way to protect them is more harsher penalties for child molesters, man. That's crazy.
You think so? I mean, harsher penalties? Well, I agree, harsher penalties, but I don't know if that would protect our children.
No, I mean, that'll just be a good punishment. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these child molesters are getting little slaps on the hand.
That's true.
Yeah. They do a little 2-year bid in the mental hospital. 5 years, Okay, they're on a 7-year probation. Wherever they go, they're a registered sex offender, but they're on the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know when you're registered as a sex offender, right, you have to be a certain amount of feet away from where children play and things of that nature,
Schools,
right?
Playgrounds.
So there's, and you can pull up these public records at any time, right?
Well,
if I'm not mistaken.
There's different levels. So you got level 1, level 2, level 3, and I believe the level 3 offenders are the most severe. And I may have that reversed, but the ones that are more severe, they're on it for life. And then you have level 2, where they're on it, I believe, for 10 years after release from prison. and they're constantly monitored, depending where. So this is based on a number scale.
Okay.
So the judges give them a number scale where they land, or they land in those level markings, and then level 1 can get off of the list.
Okay.
Because their crime was not as severe.
Well, I would say level 1 would probably be like someone that was, say that person was 15 years old or 16 years old. His girlfriend was, he or she girlfriend was 13, and they was going out since, that age.
Yeah.
Then he becomes 18, and she's still underage, but they was going out the whole time, and something happens, and the parents want to call, right? That can go into that type of gray area there, kind of, right?
I
So to
believe
speak.
Texas has like a Romeo and Juliet law.
Okay.
Where if you were dating like at 15,
15,
and the girl was 14, and
exactly.
then now he's 18,
Exactly.
she's 16 or 17, they allow them to continue on. There won't be a law against them. But the reality is, no, we got some shady individuals out here in our world, and they take advantage of our children.
But like you said, now Gemma said harsher penalties, but there's no rehabilitation in those penalties. That I think that might be an issue. You go to jail. How many people become? They don't.
Most of them don't go to jail though. Yeah. Most of them go to mental hospitals.
No, I would say that.
I would say that. I would say they go to jail.
They do time.
Yeah.
I don't know if the time fits the crime.
That's
though.
and not only that, are they dealing with their mental issues in the jail?
Yeah, that I believe they do programs, but to what degree they're effective, I don't know.
Exactly. And
so even post release, they have to continue taking programs.
That's good. Okay.
And I think it's mandatory based on the
crime,
the pro. And the thing is, though, I don't know how effective it is.
Yeah, the method of therapy, does it work?
So there's a brother in the church that used to deal with these kind of offenders because he worked in the prisons.
Yeah.
And he said that some of them just have certain type of behaviors, narcissistic behaviors. They have manipulative behaviors.
Yes.
He says, and there's nothing you can do about that outside of the work of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
They have their mindset. So one thing he shared with me one time was that in speaking with one of them, this individual would say, "Yo, that girl's just looking at me a certain way, and I can't help it." Talking about a 5-year-old girl.
Wow.
So that's just kind of the demonic mindset they're dealing with. They see a child looking at them, and they think that little girl is flirting with him.
Exactly.
That's some of the depravity of it.
And they're blinded by the age.
Yeah, they don't see anything.
Wow. Wow. Serious. And we know that now with this, partaking, in society, it's crept into the church. It's everywhere. You even have to listen. We keep it 100 on the show. You have to be careful with family members.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to be careful with other children.
Yeah.
Little cousins playing with cousins. Yes. I mean, even sister and brother. Sometimes I've seen cases of this that they you got one older than the other and touching on another one. I've seen it firsthand in dealing with people.
Well, especially when you got younger kids, and if they're like in that 11, 12, 13 age, and they're sexually promiscuous, they're looking to maybe try things out, and then if they've been exposed to pornography,
I was just going to go into that.
Too,
yes.
You might find them trying to do some things to kids or even family members just because they're trying to practice what they've seen.
Exactly.
And they horny. Plain and simple.
Well, and then they're horny, and now they're seeing methods of what to do about that horniness, and now they're like experimenting, so to speak, and that's an issue. So what these kids are being exposed to, especially with telephones now, and the platforms they can get all this access to this stuff, they're exposed at an early age now. I would say, now, listen, even if you're guarding what they're watching, it's more, even commercials now are more sexual. It doesn't have to be a rated X movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. It could be a commercial now, and it's real sexual.
Yeah, why we got to sexualize our kids? That doesn't make sense, And this is the thing, when you got young girls who see dolls or other kids their age dressing with sexy fashion, that's desensitizing them.
Exactly.
And then it it kind of, once again, if you got males or if you got molesters out there that have issues or struggles with this, we're giving them straight ammo and fuel for this, man.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I remember my kids like to watch that thing called Dance Mom, where these little kids, the lady, she's like, she teaches them how to dance, and she's like real strong, and she's like world renowned for her, her teaching, and they win a lot of awards or whatnot. And listen, I'm gonna keep it 100. The show's really about the moms trying to get shine time. For real, it ain't even about the kids. The moms want don't even get me involved in that. But anyways, the moms are trying to take over the shine time. But they put these kids with makeup, all this hardcore makeup on them and all this tights. And I'm like, see, that right there is not right. That it doesn't even look right. It doesn't even look normal to me. You know what I mean? And again, these are what we're exposing our children to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a problem.
It's a problem. No, it is a problem. And not only that, so when you come back to the pornography thing, right now, pornography is such an issue in our culture. It's desensitized so many people that you have men, like if you go to Pornhub, and I ain't advocating anybody go to Pornhub, but if you go to Pornhub, they got up there, if you want to search in their search bar, girls getting raped, teenage girls getting raped, you'll find it. That stuff is
wow,
readily available. And when you got young boys and even grown men looking at that, they just look at these young girls as a piece of flesh, piece of meat, and porn is never enough. So the trickle effect is, let me try and do it with someone else.
So is that a double standard from society? Like they don't want child molesters and things like that, but then you're showing access to porn, and it has those kind of categories. Yeah. Oh, want to see someone get raped, or younger looking girls. Like what? It's a double standard there.
And it's not only in porn. Reading this article, pedophilia in Europe is rampant, and they're starting to get to a point where it's getting scientific. You know how they say you're born gay?
Yes.
You're born gay. You're born transgender. So we have to respect that. There's no cure for it. So they're saying that about pedophilia now.
Yeah.
You're born
as
pedophilia.
Yeah.
So they can't help themselves.
I've heard the argument from someone that does that.
So I just read an article about this German dude in Germany. He got caught a couple times. Pedophile, had sex with 11, 10-year-old boys and did some time, and he said he can't do nothing about it. But he goes, what the problem is there's a lot of magazines in Germany and a lot of television shows and a lot on TV that portray children in a sexual way, and it makes it really hard for pedophiles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get aroused.
Yeah. So it's not only porn; it's just regular TV, bro.
And so that's my point.
Magazines on a newsstand.
So to one level, right? It's one thing you get aroused to a magazine, to the pornography, but it's never enough.
Right.
And so at some point you need to do it yourself.
Yeah,
right?
you want the real thing.
And that's exactly what happens with a lot of young kids. They get exposed.
Gemma brought up a good thing that reminded me of me having a conversation with someone that was struggling with that, with child molestation and, looking at children that way and younger, and their argument to me was that, well, it's the same thing as being gay. This is what the person said to me. That they were born like that, liking the same sex.
Yeah.
I'm just born liking younger. Wow. And then, so who do you say is wrong?
Both are wrong.
No, meaning
biblically speaking.
Yeah, biblically. No, yeah. Okay. So now the biblical side, there's clarity here. You're both wrong. Yeah. Boom, biblically. But now society, what do they say about it? Of course. So they say, well, this one is, born. Yeah, that's biology. Yeah. But you're not biology. So they're gonna have to argue.
Though.
Yeah,
there's no actual evidence in when it comes to biology or even the science that says you're born gay.
That's my point. Right. So now
they're trying to push that narrative,
but they're gonna have to fight that defense against someone that feels that they was born liking younger.
Right.
See, now they have an argument now.
Now, I would say that if you are born gay, it's because you're born in sin. You're depraved. We're all depraved, and until Christ comes onto the scene and changes our mind.
Check out how society is propagating sex with young children. The country of Austria, which is in Europe, you know what their legal sex age is? 14 years old.
Crazy.
So if you're a 35-year-old man, you can have sex with a 14-year-old girl if she gives you consent.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. we don't want to go into some of the places in Asia.
Well, let's.
we don't even want
Thailand.
we don't even want to go there.
Sick over there.
Yeah.
Let's. This is going to sound kind of crazy.
No, I know what you're gonna say too. Go ahead.
If you look biblically,
I knew you was going there.
Biblically, the age was 13, wasn't it? I believe.
Period.
A woman, yeah.
Period.
She got her
Once you get your period.
A virgin, you know what I'm saying? When she was a virgin, technically the man could enter her at that point.
Yep.
Technically,
right.
but a lot of times she was betrothed, so there would be a process before she would give.
She already would know the person already for years.
Right.
And another thing is the different
Jewish custom.
in Jewish and that person would stay like. That's it now. You with this person,
Yeah,
with them. It's not, you
It
leave
wasn't an abuse.
It wasn't, now that
was
was
abuse.
Go ahead, Kurt. Finish your thought, and then I'll jump in.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say even in the Hispanic culture, like my
used to practice
grandfather.
that,
My grandfather was 10 years older than my grandmother. I think he started dating her when she was 15, and he was 25.
And those arranged marriages in the Spanish culture too.
Exactly.
The arranged,
And so that was more common. Not same with my father-in-law. My father-in-law, I believe, had 10 years on his wife.
Yep.
Yeah.
When they were younger. So I think that was somewhat common, but today's deprived, today, the way men look at these girls today, it's not for marriage to continue on the family.
There you go. See,
right?
that's the key
That's
right
not what's
there.
going
It's
on
not for
today.
marriage.
Yeah.
It's just for sex.
Exactly.
See, that's the
Today it's all
difference.
self-gratification.
That's the difference right there, and that's a big difference there.
But like
Go
Kurt
ahead.
said, we still have to address that. That was still a foul practice back in the day.
It is.
I would say, yeah.
Can you imagine
was
today
it a
though?
foul practice, or
Can you?
have we defiled the practice?
That's a
But
good.
can you imagine today, Kurt?
Culturally,
Your daughter is 12 years old. She just
Well,
got her period, which makes her eligible
Right.
for another man
Well,
to be like, "Yo,
I
can
think
I
that's
ask
when
her?"
we
hand?
have to take into account what Lou just said, cultural.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our culture today just doesn't.
It's different.
It's different.
A 13-year-old girl today is not mature enough to handle that.
But do you think that she was back in
Yes,
the biblical
because
Yes,
that was
I
their
would say-
culture.
No,
That was
because women-
Because
Go
you
ahead, my
were,
bad.
if you will, you were shaping their responsibility, their maturity
From young.
to be able to handle that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So a person from the outside who's anti-Christian, anti-biblical would see that as hypocrisy.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
they
They're
would
like,
say
hold
it's
on,
yeah,
you
yeah.
against child pedophilia, but in the Bible it was okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see this once again though, it what you have there though is a whole culture, but it wasn't just biblical. You also had it in the Middle Eastern culture.
Civilization, yeah.
Right, that
It
was
part of the
civilization.
culture. Right.
So the betrothal, and then not only that, you had, in a sense, and this is where sin does come in, right? You were giving monies for that. So
Yeah.
a father would give his daughter away.
A dowry, right?
Exactly, a
Dowry.
dowry, and then you're receiving back some kind of income, or I don't know if that's the proper term, but you're receiving something back,
profit.
of value,
Yeah.
right, and that's where sin comes in, because I don't think that was God's intent at all. However, that was very common of. Even today, you still have that in a lot of Indian culture as well, where they set up arranged marriages, and the fathers that are the males whose parents are arranging for the daughter to be married to the son, they give a dowry, they give money to these families. So, culturally speaking, is it hypocritical? Without a doubt. I don't think the Bible advocates it either, though. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
it is what it is
was.
in the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Doesn't
saying
promote it or
exactly.
anything
It's
like
not
that.
being promoted. It's just that's what it is.
The times we're dealing with.
But
yeah.
we've advanced. Humanity has
I think
advanced. Where today, that's like, no.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
Advance?
a matter of advancing or not. I just think we're different. Our culture today is just very different from.
Okay.
Because you still have, like Lou said, you have cultures in other countries that still practice these things, and they don't have these issues that we're
Issues that we
talking
have.
about.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
different mindset.
the seriousness, the intense, you know what I'm saying? Like, they take it serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for them, it's very different. For us, it's so abnormal because of our society is so different, man. The Western society, Western civilization is so different.
And you know what? Back then, like how we talked about it in a couple of episodes ago, drinking the wine, how we drunk off the wine. Back then, that was the dream. of being married, raising family.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose.
Let me jump on what you just said there, because my wife is a nurse, and she there's a young lady that's somewhat of a co-worker where she's at. She's a refugee from Nepal. And when she was over in Nepal, her dream was to get married and have a lot of children. However, when they came to America,
there you go.
Her dream changed. Now she wants to become a doctor, and live a successful life. But she says in Nepal, I couldn't. That wasn't even possible.
Exactly.
It was get married to someone, a husband who would take care and provide, and have children, and carry on.
And the key
lineage.
factor is that before coming here,
that was her dream.
Yeah, it was cool. She looked it forward to that.
Exactly.
She was like, "Wow, this is my dream." See, but then you're exposed to something else over here.
You get Americanized.
Exactly. So that's
Capitalist.
why. So go back to what Kurt was saying, is that it's not that it's changed for the better, but things has changed in the whole structure and the old system of family and having children producing and just generations passing on to other generations.
So it's just a matter of, we have to handle things with wisdom. Yep. You know what I mean? So that's why I said a 13-year-old in our culture is just not mature, bro.
Yeah, it's not.
No way, no how, man. They're not mature enough to understand and to make those kind of decisions because our culture just doesn't allow for that.
Exactly. And we're not raising. Exactly. We don't.
So now we have to implement things, or our society has to look at certain things, and we have to do it with wisdom.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then, so we must act accordingly, and then which means we must judge accordingly.
Yeah.
But listen, our culture and our society is so jacked up that things are all over the place. So we got laws that say, this kid is can be exposed to sexuality at elementary school, right? They're exposing,
I mean, educationally
wise. Then we got, but you can't smoke a cigarette to 18 years old, and then you can't drink to 21. Like, you know what I mean? The morals and all this is like it's all over the place.
Listen, man,
it's all over the place.
Because the more laws you have, man, all it reveals is that we're just messed up. That we break laws, plain and simple, and that's all we're doing. We're adding laws. But when it comes to, like, let me ask this. When it comes to these kids who have suffered molestation, a lot of times the statistics show us that it is people they know. I believe it's like 75% of people, either of the people molested or the kids molested, they either is a family member or an acquaintance.
Exactly.
How do we as parents do a better job at protecting our kids, man?
I think that I know for me, I'll speak first. I have a lot of family members that were molested and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I've spoken to, since I did, had a upbringing, knowing a lot of people that dealt with that. I have to speak to a lot of people to help them. And the biggest thing with your children is communication. The biggest thing is that you have to really get a strong communication relationship with your children so that they're not scared, or they cannot be scared to tell you something. Because a lot of times the first encounter is not as serious as the second or the third one. It's always a trial base and see if the kid says something, how far they can go, and if the kid doesn't say anything, they're going to take it further, and they're going to take it further. So if, of course, you want that first, you want to protect it from that first, but if you don't, right, and that first one gets, and they do voice to you, a parent or someone that can help, you know what I mean, you can interject. But a lot of times they do fear tactics. They use positions of power, and they make it look like that, the kid is going to get in trouble, or try to get the kid to feel convicted they're doing a bad thing if they say anything, or keep it, our little secret, or they're doing. So you really have to communicate to your kid from a young age that mommy and daddy are your advocates. They're your superheroes. We need to know everything. No one can stop. I tell my kids all the time. And my kids think this. My kids think that bullets can't stop me. They kind of question that. Like, I don't think a bullet stopped my dad, because I tell them when they come to you, bullets can't stop me. Trust me when I tell you. And you got to really install that into them.
Absolutely, man. Develop a trust with your kids, because back in the days, remember, a lot of kids used to get molested. They tell the mom, and the mom be like, "Hush your mouth."
So part of communication is belief, right?
Or you're lying.
Yeah.
Belief, right?
Or you're lying.
Do you believe your kids when they come and say that? Yeah,
Right, because that used to happen a lot back in the days.
Yep.
Or they would believe them or be like, "You just hush your mouth because I don't want you to get that stigma on you, and I don't want it. It's my brother who molested you,
Exactly.
so I don't want that to be on him."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They would do that a lot. So you have to develop that trust with your kids to be like, yo, if I tell mom and dad, they're gonna have my back and not punish me for telling them.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Exactly. If you've come to your parents and you say something and they don't believe you, man, how hard that is, man, for some
devastating,
kids, man.
And that's that's the one that go down that bad.
Or they make you feel like it's your fault.
Your fault. And then now the predator can use that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So
it's tough, man.
definitely got to really.
So one of the things that I guess one of the aspects of communication with your children is really good touch, bad touch. Like so,
exactly.
Science tells us that we're all sexual beings as soon as we're born. Yep. Meaning we can receive sexual gratification even as a baby, right? Mm-hmm. The biology, our biology will just respond naturally because the sense, our senses and our if someone's to touch us a certain way, we would like it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So we have to tell our kids and teach them, like, this is something me and my wife do all the time. There's good touch, there's bad touch. No one touches this, your private area right here. You don't. If someone does, you come tell us quickly. Like that. That's just, and you won't be in trouble. Like we make that clear. You're not going to be in trouble. You just need to come tell us.
Exactly.
Right. So, but it's crazy that we have to do that today. Where, like you said, Jamma, back then we didn't. I don't think these conversations were even hate.
Well, I think it depends on family structure and things of that nature.
Well, I think more regular today that conversation.
Now it needs to be done.
Yeah, more
back then you could depending on again family structure and what you was exposed to. So you probably could have got away with it if you was with a pretty decent family. Yeah, there was a grace of God that wasn't exposed to any of that. But when I was young, my mom at a young age told me, like 4 or 5 years old, like, stay away from this person, that person, and this person. You never be alone with this person and that person. You know what I mean? Don't never let me catch you alone. Yeah. And if they ever tried to catch you alone, you tell me. Like, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And she told me why. She's like, because, that person don't got it all up there. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to, protect yourself around this person. And then my dad used to tell me, you just let me know what's up. See, now the thing is with my dad would kill you, like, for real. Like, no, for real. Like, no, my dad was, he was in the war at 13 years old. Yeah. He was a soldier at 13, 12 years old. So my dad even got shot in the Vietnam War. So I praise God. That's why I think a lot of people stood away. They know my dad would kill him. Yeah. Like, my dad did some crazy things in front of everybody. Like, he'll lose it. He'll black out and, like, everybody gonna get murdered if you cross the line. So that kind of protected me a little bit, but at the same time, I did have to protect my sister and protect, again, that communication was there from a young age.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So I think that communication is the key, but like you said, education too. Yeah. To what's being done and what's, you know what I mean? At least what's bad and what's good, because they can use that.
I think another thing too is we have to be aware as parents. Like, depending on, there's just some families that's just open, they friendly, and they like having people, come over. Me and my family, we just tight knit, and so if you're not part of the inner circle in a sense, it's just easier to kind of pinpoint. Mm-hmm. But if you're a type of family that's just open to a lot of different people and stuff, like you're just social, I think that's where there's a lot of dangers in that, and you definitely have to kind of keep an eye open and just be aware of any strangers or just people that are just familiar, and go from there. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's crazy. You gotta really watch your kids.
Yeah,
that's the other thing too, man. You gotta know who's around them, who they are, because I think sometimes, especially, sometimes we just think
assuming.
Yeah, we just assume that because it's family or it's this person or that person that they're in good hands. Nah, bro. Like you You may come across as like super protective, but I'd rather come across as super protective than to have my kid come to me and tell me.
Well,
that
you put the stats. Lou put the stats. It says a family member, right? Or what was the?
Yeah, well, one of the stats. But here, looking in front of this one right here says 90%, 93%.
Yeah.
People know. I looked at a stat earlier today, and it said 70. I think it was like 75%. But this one is higher.
Yeah, because the stat I sent you earlier, that was from 2013.
Okay, so this
stat is from 2017, bro.
Okay, so it's
2017.
updated.
So look at that, and then look at the difference in the stat that I sent you earlier. It said 1 in 9 girls would have been sexually abused before the age 18.
It's crazy.
This one here
says 1 in 4 girls.
Yes, 1 in 4.
So
look
quarter
at
of the
that. Look at that
population.
jump. Look at the jump from 1 in 9 to 1 in 4.
Increasing.
And this is before the age 18, bro.
Yeah.
Before the age of 18.
And it says that, in fact, I think it's, where is it? It says 12% of women were of the age 10 or younger at the time of their first rape or victimization.
And this is from ywca.org.
Yes.
That's sad.
Crazy, bro.
Listen, and we really have to be careful about even other children, older children. I'm telling you, that's
Yeah,
another big
that's
thing
another thing,
that's been going around and that's been,
Because of the access to the pornography
Exactly,
today, man.
exactly.
It's just they just think sexuality is nothing.
Yo, trending on the streets, jam juggernaut on set,
Yeah.
going on around the world, man.
Yeah.
Yo, my man's John MacArthur, Calvinist preacher from the Grace to You ministry, humongous church based in California, one of the most democratic liberal states on the planet. The governor of California, Governor Newman, I think his name is, something like that. Newsom. There it is. He's got a whole bunch of guidelines. Well, he issued a whole bunch of guidelines hours after President Trump said that church is essential and they are open for business all over, and he will protect and override and supersede any state government imposing restrictions on church. Newsom came out 4 hours later saying, yo, it's mad guidelines on here. If you don't follow these guidelines, you will be fined or you will be shot down. John MacArthur came out with a video, said, bump all that. I'm ready to rock. Church, 100%. He did it. He's looking at some fines. He's being threatened with fines and potential arrests for reopening church, as he says, we will not bow to Caesar. Quotes.
they'll be shut down, not shot down. You said shot down.
Yeah, well, you know what I meant.
Oh, well, I want the viewers to know that you ain't mean that they're going to be shot.
You know.
Okay.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for interjecting. That was a good one. All right. My bad. So what's going on with that? What y'all think about that?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that they won't be shot. You know what I mean? Because that was going to be that's scary. You know what I mean?
Thank you for the correction, Don. Thank you.
No, you made it clear. It's for the TATS Nation.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because I know how you like to give correct, clear,
Yes.
information.
Yes.
You're big on that. Lou, I'll let you go first on that. What you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with him. I mean, I know not everybody's in agreement, but we've been doing this COVID-19 stuff for a while. It's a serious disease, without a doubt. I'm not knocking it. I'm not one of those that say, this is a hoax. This is everything. I'm not there. And I don't think John MacArthur or the elders, because this was a statement by the elders as well, are there. But they just look at the stats and saying that the stats are showing us that there's a high survival rate behind it. I'm not knocking them. I'm for it. Hey, if they're the church. And the Bible tells in Hebrews 10 to not forsake the assembly of believers, and they're trying to be obedient to God. Now, one thing they said, they're probably going to get persecuted for it. Yeah. So I think that's something they expect to have.
Well, my question is this: what part of I would like to know what part of the guidelines they don't want to follow.
Right.
That's my question, because some of them are
common sense.
Yeah, some of them are like good.
Yeah.
Not all the guys.
And
part of the
they're
guidelines.
gonna see. It's not like they're going against all of it. It's the assembly part of it. Like that, my understanding is that they're still going to try to practice social distancing in there as well.
Okay.
Obviously the hand sanitizing.
That
available.
right. Okay.
But the
notion
of
singing, you think they have a problem with? They can't sing, and then
I would say this: they sing a bunch of hymnals.
Yeah, his church is not like rock and wild like
but
that.
No, everybody. No, but when you sing hymn notes, everybody sings together.
Yes.
Even the congregation. So it's a little worse. To tell you
and
the
that
truth.
is one of the guidelines that the governor said.
Like evangelical churches, it's just the people on the stage singing, and you're just clapping along.
Word for word.
Hymns, everybody sings.
Yeah, everybody
word for word.
sings, yeah.
Strongly consider discontinuing singing, group recitation, and other practices and performance where there is an increased likelihood for transmission from contaminated exhaled droplets.
Meanwhile, you can still go protest, right?
Right.
Exactly. I
There's
just
a
want to know
double
what.
standard in all
I
this.
just
It's
would
not-
like to
that's
know.
that's what they're trying to pinpoint.
I would like
as
to
well.
know what his X's and where he says, okay, this, but not this. Just because
Specifically, right?
specifically,
Yeah.
because then it'll give me more information to see why he takes. The
Yeah, they don't
stance.
get into the specifics of what they're gonna do. Maybe you could go to the website and find
Yeah.
it.
No, I got all the guidelines here.
Okay. No,
He's
no,
saying-
from the church
From
standpoint.
the church standpoint, from his standpoint,
Right,
Yeah, from the church's
From the
standpoint.
church,
That's what he's
yeah,
saying.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I mean, I have all the California guidelines.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
You want to know
What he
which
doesn't
ones
agree
John
with.
MacArthur don't want to
agree
do.
because a lot of them are
Makes
common
sense.
sense.
Well, you know,
a lot of them common sense.
No, it's
Safety
not that.
precautions.
It's that Governor Newsom declared that there were no churches were allowed to gather at all.
Right.
Is
So-
that on? But this is
No, this one's different.
This
He
one's different.
says no. He
That's-
says church can open, but only at 25% attendance in California. Those are his
No.
guidelines.
So no. What date is that you got there?
This is May 25th.
See, so no, we're talking about. See, they opened back up in California.
Okay.
And they came back just recently and said no church services.
Oh, so this is okay.
So they respond. They're responding to
that
to that right
makes
there.
more sense now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Governor Newsom said they wanted not just churches, there's other establishments
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
honest about that. But for no churches to gather at all. Now they weren't
Okay.
even gathering
That's a different-
up to this point.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand that it's not
That's
like
a
they
different
opened up-
narrative.
It wasn't like they were gathering at all. They were still
different
from March. From March, they were not having services.
Okay.
But when the governor brought this back up, he shut down
Shut
everything
'em down, yeah.
again
Because
and said no
spiked up, right?
services. They had a
Because
spike
little
over
spike
there.
up. Yep.
He said no. Listen, they sat down as elders and they made this statement saying no, we're going to come together and we're going to
Okay.
have service.
Makes way more
and he got a
sense now.
standing ovation on that first service.
It makes more sense now. It
Right.
makes more sense
Yeah.
now.
and he had service yesterday.
I believe it was last week their first service. So this was a week ago.
Oh well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna now with that clear narrative that's been clarified. I hear him. I hear where he's coming from, MacArthur.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was just some guidelines. Like, wow. So he's fighting.
No.
it.
So they had original guidelines from
The
May.
ones he-
From May.
Yep.
They started opening back up again. They had the spike. So
Now he
Governor
shut down
Newsom was
again.
trying to keep it in order. He's like, "Yo, we shutting
down
down
church.
shutting
And
down
MacArthur
every." It
said
wasn't just
no.
the church, but they were shutting everything
Everything
down.
down. Everything down.
They're shutting everything.
He's saying
down.
we ain't shutting down.
Okay. Yeah. You got to rock that. Yeah.
Gotta
yeah.
rock
So
that.
I co-sign that.
and so the statistics, based on the statistics that they have, they say no. We feel like this is not as serious as some people are saying.
All right, check it. One last one. Not handling the pandemic well. A man fires at officers with AK-47 after refusing to wear a mask. Police say he had a bad day. When a cigar shop clerk told Adam Zabrowski on Friday he had to wear a mask in the shop, 35-year-old stole 2 cigars, pulled a handgun out on him, and left. Cops came next day to his crib. They had a shootout. My man came out with an AK-47. He came out alive. And yes.
Well, he came out shooting back at the cops.
Yeah, he was shooting a shootout.
Oh wow.
Him and the AK-47 against about 7 or 8 cops, and he got shot a couple times, but he came out alive. He was under arrest, and yes, he's white.
How many times was he shot?
And yes, he was white. If that man was black, he'd have been dead. And the headline would not be comical like
Why?
that.
Why? What's the headline?
The headline is, this is from the Washington Post, not handling the pandemic well. Man fires at officers with AK-47 after refusing to wear a mask, police say.
Are you serious, my friend?
You know,
Are
if that was a
serious?
black dude, a whole
Yo,
different
that's trending
narrative
on the
there,
streets, man. My bad, Kurt. Let's keep it moving, man. What's
yes.
going on?
That's
Not
whack,
handling the
bro.
pandemic well, definitely. Wow. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get back, Lou.
Yeah.
Bring us
So
back.
so coming back to the whole molestation issue, right? Let me ask you guys this. I mean, I know you kind of alluded to it somewhat, Dawn. Has it hit close to home? I know we getting a little personal here. Do you know anybody? Has it happened to you?
Yes,
And
man.
transparency. We know we're looking for.
I had a couple relatives, don't want to say their names, that got molested by a relative, like close relative, and it was crazy when I found out. I found out years later, man. Years later, like wow, that's crazy. And cut that relative off when I found out. Like now, I look at that person like I just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm angry at myself for not seeing the telltale signs.
Couldn't even see it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. It's
What were
crazy.
the telltale signs? If you can identify with that. No, at the time.
And hindsight being 2020.
Yeah,
Now-
now.
Well, I really can't speak on it.
Okay,
you know
all
what
right,
I'm
all right.
saying?
Well,
But-
speak on your own experience. You
Oh,
told
my
me.
experience. I almost got molested. Man, I'm so blessed, bro. I'm so blessed. Well, as you know, my history, I grew up in the Catholic Church where nuns and priests walked around and the community. They were prevalent. They were looked at like leaders in the community. The Hispanic community, uncles, aunts, mothers, parents, all that, looked at them like with much respect and let them do pretty much anything. You go over here and help father do this. Go over here and help sister do this. And, unsupervised. You know how I was back in the days. This is the 80s, man.
Yeah.
So one time they got the Atari 2600 just came out. And the father was like, hey, Dave, man. And I think, they noticed what family they could rock with.
Yeah.
Because I was from a broken home, domestic violence. Father was an alcoholic. Mom worshipped the church and anyone in the church. Like my mom looked at the priests and the nuns like they were gods. You know what I'm saying? She was that much of a Catholic, Wow. So he was like, hey, Dave, I got the Atari 2600. And we were poor. We didn't have a Atari 2600. Man, I wish I had a Atari 2600.
How old were you?
I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, come to the place. He lived right next to the rectory. A rectory is where all the nuns live. It's right and smack dead in the middle of the community. And his apartment was upstairs from that rectory. And he was like, yeah, come through. You could play, whenever you want, but come by yourself. I remember he said that. But come by yourself. Don't bring all your friends, there's too many kids. So I went there, started playing Atari 2600. And he was like, hey, do you like the wine that we have in community? I was like, oh yeah, I love that wine. I love when we have community, eat the bread and that wine. And he's like, here, you want a cup? I was like, yeah, he gave me a cup. And I was playing the Atari 2600, Pac-Man. And he was staring at me, and looking back at it in hindsight, he was struggling. He's like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then he went to the bathroom, which was right next to me. And I heard a sound that I didn't know what that sound was until later on in life. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he was masturbating in the bathroom, and he came out of the bathroom and he looked at me. He was like, yo, you got to go. He turned off the Atari 2600 and I was like, yo, did I do something wrong? What happened? He's like, no, you just got to go, man. Just go.
Wow.
Just go. And I left. And, I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he must not like me or something, or he was just busy, or he's having a bad day or something. And never went back because that kind of, he must not like me. And then years later, like 18, 17 years old, you're like, yo.
It hit you.
Wow,
Yeah,
this is what happened. I'm so lucky. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have been a completely different person. Dawn said I would have been like gay or something. He said I would have been the gay flamboyant type. I was like, that's messed up, Dawn. You know what I'm saying? Which brings up the point that another fact that Dawn brought up, hit me with a couple weeks ago, is that there's a high percentage of people who are homosexual or transgender
That have been molested.
Yeah. So it wasn't a choice. They were forced into that lifestyle.
Their innocence was robbed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
or even not even just that, but just over, having that promiscuous lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? They just overly sexual, man. They just everything's about sex to them.
That's rampant too.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Especially now.
And I had a couple family members that I know were molested, man.
Yeah.
And this is the crazy thing, man. Like, you had your experience. I had an experience with a family friend from the church, right? It was and it was a family that we I always chilled with, and they were mad cool. So one day I was at their house, and the son was like, one of the sons was, I want to say maybe 3 years older than me, maybe a little bit, maybe 4. I would say maybe 3 or 4 years older than me, and we just over there chilling. And mom went to sleep. So I went to sleep on the couch. And then next thing you know, he comes and he jumps on top of me. And he has me pinned to the couch. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And he just staying there because he was a big dude. He wasn't like, he wasn't no small dude. He was a big dude. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like, and I'm a kid. I'm probably like 11, 12.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and if you know my parents, they kept us, protected from a lot of stuff. So I ain't have no clue about none of this kind of stuff. So I was just confused, like, yo, why you pinning me down? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get up, man. I'm trying to get up now. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you squashing me, bro. What you doing? And so he finally did get up. And then a couple of years later, caught him, masturbating at the church in the coat room.
Oh, wow.
Man.
And he wanted me to come with him. And I'm like, nah, bro, what is you doing, bro? Like, you tripping. Because, again, I had no clue what this was, bro. By this time, he had full-blown teenager, you know what I'm saying? He about to get out the house. I have no
still
clue.
Innocent. You're still innocent.
I have no clue what he's doing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, you could do this too. I'm like, nah, this don't seem right, bro. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Gemma said, as you get older, you start to see stuff like, yo.
Yeah.
Because now he
You're
can't.
educated.
Now he's out.
Yeah.
Now he's out the closet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's gay?
Yeah, he's gay.
Oh,
yeah.
So now I look back and I'm like, I see what, not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, this dude was trying to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Mom Dukes is in the other room sleep.
Yep. That's why you got to be careful, man.
Yeah.
That's why you
Bro,
got to be careful.
but when I say you got to watch your kids, and again, my parents they don't even know that.
They don't even know.
To this day, they don't even know. This is the first time I'm bringing that out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because, again, it's a childhood, a family friend. And the mom was like, yo, when I talk about on point with her walk,
Yeah.
this was a woman who was on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was, bro, it's crazy, bro.
Well, like, and me, the thing is, because I got my mother and my aunts, they were all sexually molested. And when my mom tried to, blow it up, she, they didn't believe her, and you know what I mean? So that came with repercussions. So she had to leave the house like at 12 years old, and sleep on the streets because of it. And then and my mom told me that, so look at what happens. So my mom's in the Bronx. She's blowing up the spot, and then she gets chastised, and she gets hit physically for blowing up the spot.
So it's her fault.
Yeah.
Yep, her fault. And then
that scarlet letter.
Exactly. And then so she goes on the streets, and she was sleeping, and then she goes and was sleeping on rooftops, and sometimes she was sleeping in the park. She gets full blown raped in the park by just somebody because she's sleeping there.
Yeah.
And listen, this is the stuff she revealed to me. My mom told me there's some stuff that she can't even tell me, that she can't even go there. This is just a little bit of what she tells me. So with all that happening to my mom, I can see that prior to Christ coming into her life, my mom always went into deep depressions, alcohol, she was alcoholic, bro. And when she would get drunk,
Trauma, man.
serious trauma. And I'm not even going into the other stuff, I'm just giving it light because for time's sake. So, so when you would think that, because sometimes that past, now she was exposed to that, now she would do it to her kid. That's the chain sometimes that gets created from things like this. But through the grace of God, my mom, that's why from young she had that conversation with us that anybody, and everybody know my mom, she's saying attacked by it, but Jamma could tell you my mom always had guns. My mom kept guns all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we was the one with the guns. Like, when a problem occurred, you come call us. We come with we come with the heavy artillery.
With the crime house, dawn house. And we got the guns.
We got the guns, and from my mom. You know what I mean? So my mom was like, anything jump off, you tell me. You and my mom, made it,
very clear.
Very clear. Anybody. And my mom would tell, when my mom and my dad divorced, see, when my dad was around, she ain't had to say nothing. My dad was on, there ain't nobody want no part to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when my dad left, my mom used to tell me, you listen, ain't nobody gonna do anything. You tell me, and we'll handle this. You know what I'm saying? But I think that she was so passionate about it because of the experience she had, and she wanted to protect us from it. You know what I'm saying? But doesn't mean that it didn't try to occur around me, and there was times that it did try to occur around me. But through the grace of God, I had my brother. And my brother was always with us. Always, and my brother protected us through a lot of things. I gotta give him a lot of credit, my brother. Shouts out to Prime. Word.
Big up.
Yeah. So, but I was exposed to it, and I seen it, and I seen the attempts. But my brother, not only that, people scared of my brother. My brother always been a serious dude, and my brother always, got down for his. So not only that you got my brother that get down, then if it go up the ladder, you got my mom that'll kill you. Then my dad will straight kill your whole family. So it was, it was a good thing.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know how to.
What's crazy though is that when you have people that actually open up and talk about this, it's a sense of relief. Like the trauma is serious, right? Outside of Christ coming in and doing a miracle on the mind and the heart and the soul. And I'll give you this example because he's passed away now. My brother Steve, he opened up to me, right before he passed away. So let me just kind of backtrack. My brother Steve was a womanizer. Like this dude, and not only that, he liked young girls. Like he liked teenage girls. And even as an old dude, and I used to always be like, bro, you tripping, man. You gotta stop doing it. You gonna get caught up. You know what I mean? You keep messing around, you gonna get caught up. But he had this love-hate with women. I don't know what it was, but it was like he loved them, but at the same time he detested them. Long story short, he lost everything. His wife divorced him. He lost his house. He was living on his own, and his diabetes, because he was a juvenile diabetic. He had type 1 diabetes, started to catch up to him. And I remember he was in my office, and we were talking, and God allowed me to share the full gospel with him, and he accepted the Lord in the office. But as I was walking him out, he looked at me. He's like, "Yo, Lou, I never shared this with anybody, but I was molested when I was a kid." And it was like, right in that moment, it hit me like a ton of bricks why he is the way he is. And he shared with me who it was, and this person was another family member who was a homosexual. And he said, "Yo, for a long time, I struggled with my sexual identity. I thought I was gay, and I didn't know. I didn't know if I was gay, but I was attracted to women." And so he just like lashed out on women because he had this desire to be with men. And he didn't know how to handle that, because it was a struggle, and so, but when he said that to me, he was different. Like his whole frame of mind was different after that, and he died probably like a year later after that from his diabetes.
Because such a relief was on.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he still had his issues, but man, he was different in his perspective and mindset. And the fact that he opened up to me and told me that was like, man, shocking, because me and Steve was so close. And it just makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, like, damn, this dude is straight out there womanizing everything. Like, he would sleep with your girl. That's how wild Steve was. Like, if you gave him a chance, he's shark on your girl. Like, I didn't even trust him even with my wife right now. I didn't even trust him with her when we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, that's how sexually depraved he was. But at the same time, when he opened up and said that, it just hit me like, this is why he's so jacked up from a sexual standpoint.
Well, that's a good point, because we always think of little girls, Well, I don't say we always think, but I think the majority think of little girls being sexually molested. Right. I had another brother, not my brother, but a man, open up to me and told me that he was molested as a young child. He was molested as a young child, and today you can see he's off. Now, he's a good brother and everything, cool dude. He's got married and all that. But you can see that he's a little off, and by a woman, an older woman that used to babysit him. Sexually molested him. Now, us sometimes we think, wow, that's the greatest, but no, it's not. When you're a little kid like that, you really don't know what's going on and why they're doing these things to you. So it's not only little guys doing to little girls. He was done by a woman.
So you say that. I have another family member that just recently, literally like within the past month and a half, opened up to me and said that he was molested when he was a teenager by an older woman. She was in her 20s. And he didn't know why this woman was doing this. This was somebody that was trusted in the family. And that hit me. Now I understood why he was the way he was with women.
So now let's talk about the spiritual part of this. I mean, that is huge right there. I feel that.
Because it has an emotional and mental effect on the person. As they develop, even like you say, even spiritually as they develop. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, the reality is this too, is sometimes, especially for men, young boys, right? There's a lot of exploratory encounters, right? Like where you may not actually do it, but you're pretending to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's the, you know what I mean? Because I remember cousins, man, that, you know, things that they would be doing, and again, you don't know what the heck is going on, but they were pretending to do stuff to you that you didn't know what was going on. So thank God, by the grace of God, that never happened. You know what I'm saying? As far as them, you know, taking it all the way.
Well,
but there were times where, you know what I'm saying, you had cousins that was doing stuff
that wasn't
you know what
right.
I'm saying? Yeah, that wasn't right, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as a kid, if especially if you don't have a foundation in Christ and in the Word, imagine how that plays on your psyche.
Yeah.
Where you begin to question, man, because this is the thing that I think we don't address enough is the physical contact. It's gonna feel good,
Exactly. Yeah.
regardless who it comes from. Whether it comes from
exactly.
dad, whether it comes from brother, whether it comes from cousin, so and so. When they touch you, it
It's
feels
a natural.
good.
It's a natural reaction.
But at the same time, something in you tells you something's not right.
Exactly.
There's a struggle between what your body is saying versus what there's this inner struggle that's crying out saying something's not right here.
Yep.
And so when you talk about a little kid, someone who's 7, 8, 9 years old, we're asking that child to be able to
decipher, right?
Yeah, how can it come out with a reasonable understanding of what's taking place and make a reasonable
analysis of it, you know?
You get what I'm saying?
And spiritually, like you said, the spiritual aspect of it is a lot of times when kids get molested or teenagers get raped, right?
Yeah.
Spiritually, that destroys them.
Yes.
Now they're not going to be Christian because they, what
Why
humans
would
do,
this happen?
they always blame God.
Yeah.
Oh, if there's a God, then why this happened to me? Ain't no God. I ain't going there. That's buns to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So spiritually, it destroys them.
Yeah.
And that's the devil's plan. That's why he over-sexualizing and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe that's part of his plan.
Yeah.
If I could touch this kid or mess up this kid head, that's going to take him away off the path.
Is there an attachment to a spiritual attachment?
I think without a doubt there's a spiritual attachment to it as well. But see, something about unclean, well, let's put it like this, where sexuality is not honored by God. In other words, if it's not done properly in the marriage bed, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, the Bible usually refers to it as unclean.
Yep.
In other words, it is a filthiness about it. And so what people feel when they're not only assaulted or kids are exposed and they're taken advantage of as they grow up, they just feel this shame and this wickedness and this guilt. And that becomes a burden upon their lives that a lot of times it's mental trauma, it's spiritual trauma upon their souls. And they don't know how to handle that, man, you know? And so they deal with it their whole lives. The problem is it comes out in a different way. Sometimes it comes out in them, probably not the term, but just repeating what has been happening to them.
Yeah.
Or the pleasure part of it.
Exactly, the pleasure part of it. They liked it, but they're confusing their mind, like Kurt was already alluding to. But at the same time, it just may also come out in violence. You know, they just
anger
and frustrated and
rage.
Like all this stuff is going on, and it's sad. You know, what needs to happen is healing. But let me read something to you. And even though there's debate on as far as what this means, but I think you could take the principle and run with it on this topic. Many will say this is about other believers if someone causes believers to fall. But in Matthew 18:5, it says this: "But whoever causes the downfall of one of these little ones who believe in me, it would be better for him if a heavy millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of offenses, for offenses must come, but woe to that man whom the offenses come through." And he goes on to say, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. And so this is where the aspect of our little ones, it's going to happen, Dawn. Like you said, this is not going anywhere. Sadly, there are orphanages, there are kids in the streets that are orphans that get snatched up, taken advantage of, because we didn't even touch the sex trade yet, right?
Trafficking, all that.
There's sex trafficking that has become rampant today.
Yep.
It is so normalized and everything. It's affecting the entire world, and people of elite status are taking advantage of these kids, man.
And wow,
it's heavy, man.
It's a heavy topic, man. And the thing is, we didn't even touch on a lot of the things we wanted to touch.
For real.
We just went on the surface base of this right here.
Touch it real quick.
We're going to come back
real quick.
on the extended thought, though.
We'll come back. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
Politicians, right?
Yeah,
Politicians.
bro.
Yeah.
The prevalent conspiracy theories of politicians participating in child pornography and all these child sex slave scandals, man.
And what it does
Wherever
to
that money is at.
Yeah, and what it does also still to the spirit person, and how they can be freed from it through Christ. Definitely got to touch
That's
on
the
that
beauty
too.
behind it, that in Christ that people can find healing. Even those that have been traumatized through homosexuality or lesbianism, like they've been offended when they're kids by these people. It's a miracle what God can do.
Kurt's going to give us our final thought.
Hey man, this is a heavy topic, man. So be looking out for the extended thought. We're gonna continue on this topic, but as a final thought, man, listen, that scripture that Lou just read, that's the exact sentiment that I feel as a father. So that would be my letter to any person who would deem themselves to try to come against my kids, man. That it's better for you to just kill yourself, because I'm coming. I can tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is, bro. But
I concur.
Man, the kids, man, are so precious, man. We talk about how, especially in our faith, man, kids are a gift from the Father, man. We know that, and it's our responsibility as parents, as the church, to do all that we can to protect them, to help raise them up, man, and to be there for them. So we definitely got to create an environment within our homes and within our churches and our communities where kids feel safe. And if someone does something where they feel not only safe, but they feel confident enough in our deliberateness to be to protect them, that they can come to us and share what happened and not necessarily be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? And feel like they did something wrong. But to know that, we gonna correct this, you know what I mean? Obviously, we can't take back what was done, but we can kind of bring some justice, if you will, to the situation. I think it's important for us to do that, and we need to have this conversation ongoing. It can't be just a one-time thing within our homes and within our church, man. It's got to start coming from the pulpit, I think, a little bit more. Amen.
Praise God, man. That's good stuff right there. Listen, I want to give our shout out to TATS Nation, man. We appreciate y'all, everything y'all do and listening to us and staying faithful, man. Help us to continue to grow. Listen, follow us on Facebook at TATS Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at TATS_podcast, and on YouTube at Theology in the Streets. Make sure you subscribe, all right? Hey, listen, this is the Street Spotlight, and our artist coming up right here is called Zach Baines. He's representing Louisiana, and this song title is Leave With Gold. Listen, follow Zach Baines at in his IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, all at Zach Baines. Check him out, all right? And this is Leave With Gold. TATS Nation, keep riding. TATS crew gonna keep driving. We out.
See ya.
In my mind, there's only one way this goes. It's only one option. I gotta win. Yeah. I'ma leave with gold, got these goals. One track mind, I'm in that mode. I must win, I won't fold. That's on everything that I know. That's on everything that I know. Came with work, I leave with gold. Aim and bust, cool and compose. I take your road and raise a toast. I leave with gold, got these goals. One track mind, I'm in that mode. I must win, I won't fold. That's on everything that I know. That's on everything that I know. Came with work, I leave with gold. Aim and bust, cool and compose. I take your road and raise a toast. I'ma leave with gold. Ooh, you can tell we ain't the same. They came just for trophies, I got impact on my brain. You know this goes so much deeper, but I'm not the one to blame. I'm the type to keep on pushing, all my losses turn to gains. Hold on, legacy over accolades, no price on my mindset. Came in as a prospect, I'ma leave with the whole contest. Seeing this in my head, got me feeling like a prophet. I outwork all my peers, that's trust in my process. Hold on. Hey, welcome my winners, I'm being a host. I'm hard and hustle from head to my toes. When it comes to work, watch them turning to ghosts. Boom. Yeah, they like to come up and run from the struggle. We hit the floor and they blowing the trumpet. I'm packing the punch like it's part of my luggage. You don't want no problems, don't tell me what I can't do. Better yet, just go ahead, I hit every time I aim to. I'm always on new levels, it's my time, I ain't through. It's hard work and late nights to be that one. Ooh. I'ma leave with gold, got these goals. One track mind, I'm in that mode. everything that I know. That's on everything that I know. Came with work, I leave with go. Aim and bust, cool and compose. I take your road and raise a toast. I leave with go. Got these goals, one track mind, I'm in that mode. I must win, I won't fold. That's on everything that I know. That's on everything that I know. Came with work, I leave with go. Aim and bust, cool and compose. I take your road and raise a toast. I'ma leave with go. Hey, I'm my only competition. Seeing my reflection, looking through my opposition. Crucify my weakness, force myself into submission. Put my back against the wall and we gon' see who gets the flinching. And I don't believe in limits. What else I gotta tell you? It's uncommon repetition. And I know it ain't fair. Saw the end before beginning. Had this game already finished. For the clock hit single digits, yeah. I'ma leave with go, got these goals. One track mind, I'm in that mode. I must win, I won't fold. That's on everything that I know. That's on everything that I know. Came with work, I leave with go. Aim and bust, cool and compose. I take your road and raise a toast. I leave with go, got these goals. One track mind, I'm in that mode. I must win, I won't fold. That's on everything that I know. That's on everything that